The walls of the Cecil Hotel whisper secrets, stained with the echoes of tragedies past. Within these haunted halls, a young woman's fate would become forever intertwined with the building's dark legacy. Her name was Elisa Lam, a vibrant 21-year-old Canadian student, brimming with dreams and curiosity as she set out to explore the wonders of California. But Elisa's journey would take an unsettling turn the moment she stepped through the doors of the Cecil Hotel. This nondescript structure, nestled in the heart of downtown Los Angeles, had long been shrouded in an ominous reputation, a reputation forged by the countless lives lost within its walls, the tortured souls that had met their demise here, whether by their own hand or by the twisted machinations of those who had once called this place home. The security footage that would surface in the wake of Elisa's disappearance would chill viewers to the core. There, captured in grainy black and white, was the last known footage of the young woman. Her movements erratic, her gestures frantic, as if she were engaged in a silent conversation with an unseen entity. What had she encountered in those final moments, lurking in the shadows of the Cecil Hotel? As the investigation unfolded, the darkness that permeated this building would only deepen, revealing a history stained with the blood of serial killers and the anguish of the lost. The Cecil Hotel had borne witness to unimaginable horrors, and now it had claimed another innocent life. But the question remained, how did Elisa Lam meet her fate in this place, and what nightmares had she confronted in her final hours? The truth, as they would soon discover, was far more unsettling than anyone could have anticipated. For within the tangled web of this mystery lay clues that defied explanation, leading investigators and the public alike down a rabbit hole of speculation and unanswered questions. What dark forces had conspired to snuff out the life of this vibrant young woman? The answers, if they could be found, would shake the very foundations of reality itself. When David and Yina Lam left Hong Kong in the late 1980s, they carried dreams of giving their children a better life in Canada. They settled in Vancouver's close-knit Chinese community, where their youngest daughter Elisa was born in 1991. From her earliest days, Elisa showed signs of being different, intensely creative, deeply thoughtful, and always writing in journals her parents would find scattered around their modest home. She was always the most sensitive of my children, her mother Yina would later tell investigators. Even as a little girl, she felt everything so deeply. When she was happy, her whole world was bright, but when darkness came, it consumed her. That darkness first appeared during Elisa's teenage years at Point Grey Secondary School. Her diary entries from that period reveal the initial struggles with what would later be diagnosed as bipolar disorder. "Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning in my own thoughts," she wrote at 16. "Other times I'm so full of energy I can't sleep for days." Despite these challenges, Elisa excelled academically. Her older sister Sarah remembers she would study until 3 a.m., then spend hours on her blog. She had this drive to experience everything life could offer, even when her mind was fighting against her. At the University of British Columbia, where she majored in dietetics, Elisa found her voice through her blog Nouvelle Nouveau. Between posts about Korean fashion and indie music, she openly discussed her mental health journey. "Started new medication today. The fog is lifting. For the first time in months, I can see colors again. Is this what normal feels like?" Her psychiatrist, Dr. Chen, who spoke with family permission, prescribed her a careful regimen of Wellbutrin, Lamictal, and Seroquel. Elisa was diligent about her medication, he noted. She understood the importance of staying balanced, especially when traveling. 2012 brought both triumph and turbulence. While excelling in her studies, Elisa experienced several manic episodes. Her blog captured these moments with raw honesty. 3 days without sleep. My thoughts are racing faster than I can type. Mom found me reorganizing my entire room at 4 a.m. I know this isn't healthy, but everything feels so alive. Yet it was during her recovery from these episodes that she began planning her California journey. Her blog transformed into a travel diary. Each day I add another destination to my map. The California coast is calling me. Maybe it's crazy to travel alone with my condition, but I need to prove to myself that I'm stronger than my diagnosis. Her parents initially opposed the trip, We were terrified, her father David later admitted. But Elisa had this way of convincing us. She showed us her detailed plans, her budget spreadsheets, her safety protocols. She'd researched everything. December 2012, Elisa's last Christmas at home. Family videos show her helping her mother make traditional Hong Kong dishes, laughing as she accidentally oversalts the soup. This time next year, she tells the camera, I'll be cooking in California. Her final weeks in Vancouver were filled with preparation. Friends recall her room becoming a staging ground for her journey. Travel guides, maps, and lists covering every surface. Her last blog post from home reveal both excitement and anxiety. Packed my medication first, then camera, then dreams. LA feels like destiny calling. January 26th, 2013, Vancouver International Airport. Security footage captures Elisa hugging her parents goodbye, her backpack decorated with travel patches. She turns back 3 times to wave, each time smiling bigger than the last. Her mother would later say those waves replay in her dreams. Her early days in California seemed to validate everyone's hopes. Daily check-ins with family, detailed blog posts, photos of sunsets and street art. The medication is working perfectly, she wrote from San Diego. I feel balanced, present, alive. Then came Los Angeles. Her final hotel choice, the Cecil, wasn't in her original plans. What made her change course? Her last blog entry carries an eerie tone. Found this historic place downtown. The rates are amazing for LA. Sure, it's a bit rough around the edges, but sometimes the best stories come from unexpected places. If only she knew what stories those walls could tell. The Cecil Hotel stands tall in downtown Los Angeles, a looming presence that's witnessed more darkness than most buildings in American history. Built in 1924, this 19-story building started as a luxurious destination for business travelers, but the Great Depression changed everything. The hotel became a backdrop for numerous deaths, murders, and unexplained events. Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker, lived on the hotel's 14th floor during his killing spree in 1985. He would return covered in blood and simply walk to his room, no questions asked. Jack Unterweger, another serial killer, chose the Cecil as his residence in 1991. The hotel's walls seemed to attract darkness like a magnet. In the 1950s and 60s, the Cecil became known as the Suicide, due to the numerous guests who ended their lives there. Helen Gurney jumped from the 7th floor in 1954, landing on the hotel's marquee. Pauline Otten leaped from the 9th floor in 1962, tragically killing George Giannini, who was walking below. The hotel changed names to Stay on Main in 2011, trying to escape its dark reputation. But the shadows of its past refused to fade. The building's architecture itself seems designed to disorient, with multiple entrances, a confusing layout, and hidden access points to restricted areas. Most chilling are the water tanks on the roof. 4 large metal containers, each holding up to 1,000 gallons of water, sit silently above the city. These tanks required special access, multiple locked doors, and a ladder to reach them. The roof itself was alarmed and supposedly inaccessible to guests. The Cecil's reputation became so notorious that it inspired the 5th season of American Horror Story. Local residents speak of strange noises, unexplained shadows, and an overwhelming sense of unease that seems to seep from the building's very foundation. Some long-term residents claim to hear footsteps in empty hallways, doors slamming without explanation, and voices whispering in the dead of night. The hotel staff has reported mysterious phone calls from unoccupied rooms and elevators moving between floors without passengers. Even today, the Cecil Hotel's dark energy remains palpable. Its windows seem to watch passing pedestrians like hollow eyes, while its entrance feels like a mouth ready to swallow unsuspecting visitors. This was the place where Elisa Lam chose to stay, a decision that would lead to one of the most puzzling mysteries in modern history. And it's within these haunted halls that we find the most disturbing piece of evidence in Elisa Lam's case: the elevator surveillance footage from February 1st, 2013. The grainy black and white video shows Elisa entering the elevator alone at 2:07 a.m., and what happens next has puzzled experts and viewers worldwide. The footage shows Elisa stepping into the elevator, pressing multiple buttons, but the doors don't close. She peeks out, looking both ways down the hallway, her movements becoming increasingly erratic. She steps out, makes strange gestures with her hands, as if she's talking to someone, but no one else appears in the frame. Her movements become more unsettling. She waves her hands in unusual patterns, her fingers splayed out, almost dancing. She steps in and out of the elevator repeatedly, at times appearing to hide in the corner. The doors remain open throughout this bizarre 4-minute sequence, despite the buttons being pressed multiple times. Most disturbing is the moment when she steps completely out of the elevator, making wild gestures with her arms, moving them in ways that seem almost unnatural. She bends and contorts her body, her actions resembling someone either playing an elaborate game or responding to something, or someone, we cannot see. At one point, she appears to be having a conversation, her hand movements suggesting an animated discussion. But the hallway remains empty. The elevator still won't close its doors. When she finally leaves the frame, the elevator doors suddenly close and begin operating normally again, as if nothing unusual had happened. This footage, released by the LAPD during their investigation, would become the last known video of Elisa Lam alive. The video went viral, spawning countless theories and interpretations. Some claimed she was playing the Korean elevator game. Others suggested paranormal activity, while skeptics pointed to possible mental health issues or drug-induced behavior. Yet, none of these theories fully explain the elevator's mechanical failure to close its doors during her entire presence, only to function perfectly once she disappeared from view. This mysterious surveillance footage would become the cornerstone of one of the most baffling cases in the Cecil Hotel's dark history. The first signs that something was wrong came when Elisa missed her daily check-in with her parents on January 26th. David Lam, her father, recalls that moment with heavy emotion. Elisa never missed a call. Never. She knew we worried. After multiple attempts to reach her, the Lam family contacted the LAPD. Officers arrived at the Cecil Hotel on January 31st. What they found in room 614 sent chills down their spines. Elisa's belongings were perfectly arranged, her laptop closed on the desk, clothes neatly folded, medication carefully organized. Her passport, phone, and wallet were missing. It was as if she had stepped out for a moment, intending to return. The room felt frozen in time, Officer Martinez remembers. Even her bed was made, which housekeeping confirmed they hadn't done. The last receipt in her notebook showed a coffee purchase from the morning, $4.25 at the corner cafe. The initial search revealed nothing suspicious, but reviewing the hotel's security tapes uncovered that haunting elevator footage. Hours turned into days. The LAPD expanded their search, combing every floor, questioning every guest. Hotel staff reported Elisa had been seen writing in her journal in the lobby, appearing calm and collected. Then came the water complaints. Guest Bernard Thompson noticed it first. The shower pressure dropped to almost nothing. When water did come out, it was black as ink. Similar reports flooded the front desk. Maintenance checked the system but found no obvious issues. Santiago Lopez, climbing to check the rooftop water tanks on February 19th, made the gruesome discovery. Elisa's body was found floating in the main water tank, her clothes swimming separate from her body. Her phone and room key were never recovered. Inside her recovered laptop, police found a draft blog post never published. The city feels different at night. The walls have eyes here. I keep looking over my shoulder, but there's never anyone there. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. After the chilling footage of Elisa Lam's bizarre behavior in the Cecil Hotel elevator, the mystery only deepens. Let's follow the disturbing chronology of events that led to her ultimate disappearance. On January 26, 2013, the 21-year-old Canadian student Elisa Lam arrived at the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, eager to explore the city on her solo trip. In the days leading up to her stay, Elisa had been chronicling her Californian adventure on her Tumblr blog, her posts brimming with excitement and optimism. "I feel like I'm in a dream," she wrote just a week before her fateful trip to the Cecil. "I never imagined my journey would take me here, but I'm ready to explore everything LA has to offer." Little did Elisa know, the hotel she had chosen to stay in had a dark and sinister reputation. The Cecil had long been associated with suicides, murders, and the haunts of serial killers. Yet, the young woman remained undeterred, checking into room 614 on the hotel's sixth floor. On the morning of January 31st, hotel guests began complaining about the water pressure and strange taste of the water. The front desk brushed it off, unaware of the grim discovery that was about to unfold. 2 days later, on February 1st, the video surveillance footage from the hotel elevator captured Elisa's final moments. The disturbing images show the young woman behaving in a manner that can only be described as bizarre and unsettling. Her strange hand gestures, contorted body movements, and the elevator's refusal to close its doors have puzzled analysts and armchair detectives alike. The LAPD investigators who pored over this footage were left with more questions than answers. How did Elisa access the hotel's rooftop, which was restricted and alarmed? What was she responding to, or who was she communicating with in that empty hallway? And most importantly, how did she end up in the hotel's water tank, her lifeless body discovered days later? The challenges facing the police were immense. The Cecil Hotel's layout was convoluted, with multiple entrances, hidden stairwells, and confusing corridors. Tracking Elisa's movements through the building's winding maze proved to be an arduous task. Furthermore, the rooftop access proved to be a perplexing puzzle. The metal ladders leading up to the water tanks were secured with locks, and the roof itself was alarmed, supposedly inaccessible to guests. Yet somehow, Elisa managed to reach this restricted area, her final resting place. As the investigation unfolded, more disturbing details emerged. Elisa's last blog post, made just days before her disappearance, hinted at a growing sense of unease and paranoia. "I think something bad is going to happen to me," she wrote ominously. The mystery only deepened when the autopsy results were released. The coroner's report found no evidence of foul play, ruling Elisa's death an accidental drowning. But how could a young woman end up in one of the hotel's water tanks, with no apparent means of reaching that isolated and secure location? The unanswered questions surrounding Elisa Lam's disappearance and death have captivated the public's imagination, spawning countless theories and speculation. From supernatural explanations to sinister conspiracies, the case has become a true crime phenomenon, with the Cecil Hotel's dark history casting a long, haunting shadow over the tragic events. As the investigation continued, the LAPD faced increasing pressure to solve this baffling mystery, one that seemed to defy logic and reason. The challenges they encountered within the labyrinthine Cecil Hotel would test the limits of their investigative skills, leaving them grasping for answers in the face of such profound and unsettling uncertainty. The toxicology report would only deepen the mystery surrounding Elisa's death. Dr. James Thompson, the lead toxicologist, found therapeutic levels of her prescribed medications, but nothing that would explain her bizarre behavior. "We tested for everything," he states, from common street drugs to exotic substances. The results were surprisingly normal. Santiago Lopez's testimony paints a haunting picture of that February morning. "The water was darker than usual when I climbed up there. I removed the lid and..." His voice trails off. "I'll never forget what I saw, her body floating face up, staring at nothing." Lopez, a 20-year maintenance veteran, still can't explain how she accessed the tank alone. The internet erupted with theories. Amateur sleuths pointed to the Korean elevator game, a ritual supposedly allowing players to travel to another dimension by pressing elevator buttons in a specific sequence. The parallels were chilling. Elisa's button pressing matched the game's pattern exactly. Others focused on a startling coincidence. At the time of Elisa's death, the CDC was conducting tuberculosis tests in Skid Row, just blocks from the Cecil. The test's name? The Lam-Elisa test. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, an epidemiologist, explains, "It's a remarkable coincidence. Lam-Elisa detects TB in body fluids, the same test sharing her exact name." Conspiracy theories flourished. Some suggested government involvement, pointing to classified documents about biological warfare testing in downtown LA. "The timing is suspicious," says online investigator Mark Roberts. "A Canadian student dies mysteriously. Her name matches a TB test during a tuberculosis outbreak?" Former CIA analyst Robert Chen offers another perspective. The hotel's location near Skid Row made it perfect for covert operations. Its reputation for deaths provided perfect cover for any accidents. The CDC declined to comment on these theories. Hotel employees reported strange occurrences in the weeks following her death. Night manager Maria Hernandez recalls, the elevator would stop at random floors, doors opening to empty hallways. One night, all security cameras went dark for exactly 2 minutes and 7 seconds, the same length as Elisa's elevator video. But perhaps most disturbing was the discovery made in Elisa's recovered journal. Written in the margins of her last entry was a series of numbers: 14, 4, 7, 15, 11, corresponding exactly to the floor number she pressed in the elevator. Below these numbers, a single sentence in Chinese characters translated to, "The game isn't what you think it is." Los Angeles paranormal investigator David Cooper conducted EMF readings throughout the hotel. The readings near the elevator where Elisa was last seen were off the charts. Something was interfering with our equipment, something I've never encountered in 30 years of ghost hunting. Despite mountains of evidence and countless theories, the LAPD officially ruled Elisa Lam's death as accidental drowning. Detective James Martinez shakes his head. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the right one. But I'll admit, this case still keeps me up at night. The official report cites her bipolar disorder as a contributing factor, suggesting she may have experienced a psychotic episode. Yet this fails to explain the mechanical anomalies: the elevator malfunction, the locked roof access, the sealed water tank. Today, the Cecil Hotel stands as a monument to unsolved mysteries. Its dark windows still watch over downtown LA, holding secrets that may never come to light. Elisa's parents have since created a scholarship in her memory, turning tragedy into opportunity for other young adventurers, though they still question the official narrative. As one hotel employee whispered off camera, "Some things about this place, they're better left unexplained. The truth might be worse than not knowing." Perhaps that's the most chilling aspect of Elisa Lam's story, that in our modern age of surveillance and technology, such profound mysteries can still exist. Her case reminds us that reality often defies explanation, leaving us to ponder what really happened on that cold February night. The elevator where Elisa was last seen still runs today. Hotel guests report it sometimes stops on random floors, doors remaining open for exactly 4 minutes, the same duration as her final recorded moments. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. They serve as reminders that the line between the explicable and inexplicable is thinner than we'd like to believe. The case of Elisa Lam continues to haunt those who dare to look too closely. If you've made it this far into this chilling mystery, you're clearly someone who appreciates the unexplained. Help us keep uncovering these fascinating stories by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. Drop your theories in the comments below. What do you think happened to Elisa Lam? Join our growing community of mystery enthusiasts, and together, let's explore the darkest corners of human history. Until next time, sleep well.